All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Hey, welcome to our last episode of the 2020 year of Jock Talk. Yes, moving on. Today we are joined by Jay. How you doing today, bud?
Always good. Always good. How about yourself, Brandon?
I'm doing good. And Trey, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Ready to bring in a new year. Fun fact for y'all. Did y'all know at 12:01 in 2021 will be the actual first time it actually be hindsight 2020?
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook the other day. So.
I did too. I was hoping y'all didn't see that. Darn, I thought it was witty.
No, I actually thought you were going to bring up something else, but okay. So anyways, so let's get to our first sponsor. We'll talk about Black Market Toffee. They're located, they're on Facebook at blackmarkettoffee.com. They're handcrafted toffees made in small batches with the finest ingredients, no corn syrup or fillers. They got the perfect delighted crunch, and it never sticks to your teeth. So, sounds like some good coffee. You can order it. They'll ship it out to you. Just check them out on Facebook. Next, we'll go to the T-shirts. Trey, tell us a little bit about the T-shirts that we are giving away.
Man, these T-shirts that we're giving away, the one you see on your screen right there, All Sports All Play Network. All you got to do is like, comment, or share our show. And at the end of each month, the viewer who's done that the most will get one of those free All Sports All Play Network T-shirts. It's a great gift. They look fly. They look great. I know I just used a 90s word, fly, but I'm sorry about that. But anyway, if you're too shy and you don't want to comment on the show and you just want to watch or whatever the case may be, all you got to do is hit up on the analyst on the All Sports All Play Network shows, and we can get you hooked up for $14.99 plus shipping and handling. All you got to do is contact me, Brandon, or Jay, or any other one of the analysts on the other shows. We'll be more than happy to hook you up with an All Sports All Play T-shirt.
That is exactly right. And then, Jay, if people like or want to get into podcasting, what's a good way for them to get into that?
You know, Brandon, I get asked all the time, and there's an app on the App Store. It's called Anchor. It does everything that you need. It has all the tools that you need to edit your podcast, make corrections if needed, get them all posted up. It even distributes them across all the major outlets. So it's a great way to do it, free of charge. Look into Anchor. They'll get you done today.
All right. And then our final sponsor, Misty Metals. They're an Oregon-based company in Bandon, Oregon. They're on Highway 101 South. They got jams, they got barbecue sauce, ketchup, I want to say mustards and stuff. Everything's homemade right out of Oregon. Give them a call at 541-347-2575, and you can also find them on gotjam.com. With that being said, guys, all right, bowl season's upon us. Heard there was a great game tonight. Trey, you watched it. Tell us about it.
I did. I came home from a long day at work, windy day here, 30-mile per hour gust, so I'm freaking tired. So all I just want to do is sit back, and I'm like, oh, it's bowl season. There's a game on at 4:30 in the afternoon. And lo and behold, it is Miami and Oklahoma State. Now, remind you, Oklahoma State did not have their star running back this game. He's saying now because he wants to get ready for the draft. their wide receiver midway through the game said he ain't playing no more. And Oklahoma State still came and won that game. Now, granted, they scored 21 points in that first quarter, and then Miami basically they were the better team the rest of the game. Let's just say that. If you take away that first quarter, Miami wins that game. But we say the same thing about Miami. They're just like the Texas Longhorns, or just like any of these other powerhouse. We think that they're going to be back for so many years. Like, they do so good, and then they finally have a meaningful game that means something that can move them up and be one of those great teams again. They blow it, and every year after year we do this. No matter who the coach is for Miami, it's just the same thing. Even though, granted, Miami's quarterback did get hurt, and the backup did come in and made a spectacular game, mind you. So it was a back and forth game. Every time Oklahoma State would go up 14, Miami answered right back. Miami got it within 3. They had the ball about midfield, and they just couldn't convert on a 4th down. And then they 3 games, but not getting to the college playoff is hurting their recruitment, and it's hurting everything else within the organization. So hats off to Oklahoma State and Van Gundy, who's a man, and he's almost 50 now, for winning that game. And without your 2 stud playmakers on the offensive end, but that defense for Oklahoma State, man, even though they gave up over 30 points that all year, that Oklahoma State defense was fast. They were solid. So hats off to Oklahoma State Cowboys, and on a fantastic season. You got through the COVID-19 season. So good job, guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jay. What do you got on it?
I mean, he hit the nail in the coffin. They came out firing. Oklahoma State did. Those 21 points they put up was just enough buffer to carry them through the game. They said, Miami came on late. They tried. They had a heck of a fight at the end. And at one point, because I was watching the game too, and like I said, they went up 21-0, and they only scored late in the second quarter. So through the whole first portion of the game, I'm like, oh man, why is this even on? Like, in my head, I'm like, why am I even watching this? And then Miami just started turning it on. But even with the momentum, it was just kind of like Trey said, they just, every time they would do something, Oklahoma State would have some sort of answer. And then even that last 4th down conversion, they couldn't pull it off. So, I mean, but hats off to them for bringing it back to 3. But again, like Trey alluded to, Oklahoma State, hats off to them. The running back didn't play. Wide receiver quit in the middle of the game. And I think he quit because he thought the game was over. He thought that they had that thing tucked, and he was like, all right, I'm not going to get injured. He had it tucked. So I honestly think that's why he did it. I think it's horrible. It's probably going to hurt his draft prospecting. I mean, you don't do that in the middle of the game. You do that before the game. You know what I mean? So you can get there. Whoever's going to be taking your spot, give them a proper shake. Don't have them out there looking crazy because they weren't prepared. I mean, you should be prepared at all times, but still. But outside of that, I mean, it was a really good game. I enjoyed it. Especially this year, to see good games is what we were looking for all year.
Yeah.
I want to go to Madison's comment real quick. Bring that one back up.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
Matt, do you think the injury made a big difference? No, because he played majority of the first quarter. They were getting blown out. But that backup quarterback, I'm sorry, I cannot remember his name, but he threw the ball efficiently. He threw that ball well. The receivers had, I counted, I think, 6 or 7 drop passes. One deep ball that could have given the lead late in the fourth quarter. Down the sideline, he just plainly dropped the ball. So I don't think the quarterback made a big difference. And then going back to what Adam just said, or I think it's Adam that said it, if Hubbard played, would have been a blowout. I think so, because Miami couldn't stop the run. Miami couldn't. Their defense was horrible the first quarter, and I think they would have scored at least 35 points, or maybe they would have at least scored more in the second quarter to make it even more of a blowout, I do believe. And they would have controlled the clock a little bit more as well. So that's my 2 takes on that. I
think the injury worked for them, honestly, because they were stuck in the mud. Their offense looked dead. They looked like they weren't showing up for the game. that injury, I don't know what it did. If they wanted to play for that dude, they wanted to see him have a good chance to perform. But when he came out there on the field, it was just like a whole nother offense that clicked. They started moving the ball. They started executing. So honestly, I do think it affected the game, but not in a negative way. It put some umph into it. It ran that momentum a completely 360.
So
yeah, his name's Perry, and he was 19 for 34, 228 and threw 2 touchdowns, 0 interception. Didn't turn the ball over, so he had a heck of a game right there.
yeah,
Freshman or something?
but Trey, you brought it up. And I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts. When star players sit out, or they play part of the game and then they decide, you know what, I'm going to sit out the rest of the game. How do you think that affects the team going into the game, at the end of the game? I mean, what do you guys think, Trey? I'll go with you.
We're talking about sitting out a bowl game.
Yeah, staying out bowl game. You guys played this many games together. Now you're like, oh, I'm going to sit this one out, and you guys go offend for yourself. I mean, what do you guys think?
If you would have asked me this about 4 years ago, I would say it's a big blow. You're playing for your teams, you're playing for your brothers, and everything like that. But man, injury is a big thing, and we're seeing a lot of players lose money in these bowl when they're playing these meaningless. I'm going to say it, meaningless bowl games. I'm tired. I know we want 30,000 bowl games, but we don't need these money. I mean, we need to expand the playoffs, and you wouldn't have this problem. You wouldn't. If you had 16 teams in this playoffs, you would see all your star players playing because everyone's playing for that national championship. Why? If I'm Hubbard, for instance, and you're probably going to be a first-round draft pick or early second round, why are you risking injury? We saw with Jalen Smith at Notre Dame when he played in the Fiesta Bowl. That didn't mean nothing. He wasn't for the playoffs. He blew his knee out, and he was projected first-round pick, and he went second round. Thank God, because Jerry Jones picked him up and let him sit out that year because they had Sean Lee and others as well. So if I'm a player and your draft stock is high, why are you going to forfeit all these millions of dollars just for a meaningless bowl game? Yes, you play. And to answer your question, you're not giving up on your brothers. You played the full regular season, and you didn't make the playoffs. These bowl games, they might mean something like the mid-majors like Coastal Carolina, USC, University of Central Florida and stuff like those. But these upper schools like the Big 12 schools, the SECs, the world, they don't want to play really these bowl games unless you're an upcoming team like Arkansas or Vanderbilt or someone like that caliber nature. But these guys want to play for a national championship, and what do they get out of a bowl game? I'm sorry, I just don't understand it. We don't need these bowl games. If you want to keep the bowl games, advance 6. You wouldn't have this problem if you just advance playoff. More teams are in the playoffs. That's just my take.
Yeah, how about you, Jay?
When you say they, are you referencing the players? Like the players don't want to play?
Well, yeah, you know how superstars.
I was talking to Trey.
Oh, okay.
When you're saying they don't want to play, or this ain't, it's not important. Are you referencing the players?
Yeah, the players don't want to play. Yeah, I'm referencing players.
Okay, because I mean, to me, this is where it comes down to. It comes down to the fight that we've been having for the past few years. Do we want compensation for our players? If this answer is no continuously, then no, I don't feel bad for them sitting out of games. Should the players be upset? Yeah, not at that player, at the organization, at the college,
yes,
at the CFB. Because at the end of the day, what are these? First of all, I love the bowl games. Some of these players will never play football again.
Well, yeah.
Some of these players, this is their last ride. Some of these players, that little lumberjack between ASU and U of A or whatever that trophy is, means a lot. So I 1,000% agree that we should have bowl games. Even if we expand it to 16, there should be a bowl game. You should get some sort of achievement at the end. There's so many college football teams. There's only a top 25, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I believe these bowl games do mean stuff because a lot of players don't get to play again. But at the same time, at the college football organizational level, no, these players don't have to play. They shouldn't forfeit going to get money because they did forfeit getting money for 4 years. They forfeit putting their body on the line for 4 years. They did all that. So if we want these players, if we want to have star athletes outside of the top 4 playing in these bowl games, compensation. And see, that's where the messed up part about this conversation comes in, because when we talk about these bowl games, the season's paid for. The season's paid for before you start. Before week 1, the season's done. You get your concessions and whatnot, but the season's paid for. These bowl games is extra bonus money. It's padded stats, so to speak, in the sports world. So when we're talking about padded and extra, and you want me to put my body on the line for an extra, but I don't get anything from that, no. These dudes need to take care of themselves. Trevor Lawrence, you've seen this year, he could have had an astronomical year. Obviously, it wasn't a real injury, but it was COVID. Him sitting out those couple games, it changed the way what we could have actually seen. Notre Dame may not even be in the top 4.
It wouldn't be in.
Yeah. All right, let's check out a few comments here. Will's been blowing it up a little bit with his first comment. If you ain't in the Final Four, you don't need to play in a bowl game if you're declaring at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get that. So. And
yeah.
then,
I will. If you're a high draft pick now, granted, there are these players that are like 6th round, 7th round teetering, and they want to improve their draft. I can totally see that.
They have to play.
But yes, like in the teams and the people who are not going to they're just going to go on and work for the 9-to-5 job like the rest of us. That's the less than 1%. But I'm just talking about the first round, second round, maybe even third round players. Don't risk it unless you're playing for a championship. That's just plain simple.
Teetering. I mean, if you're unsure, if you're between 2 and 5, you're just unsure. Go play that last game. Solidify your stock. But if you got your stock already set.
All right, and then there's a comment here with Adam. So you guys believe college players should be paid for the season or just a bowl game? What do you guys think?
Well, in college football, the bowl games are classified as part of the season. Their statistics are part of the season. It goes on their seasonal record. So the bowl game is actually part of the season. So, yes, if they play the whole season and then they just get to a bowl game and they're getting paid for it, they need to play that bowl game. And that's the bottom line.
Well, to answer his question, do we want to be paid for the season or should they be paid?
Season. That's what I was getting to. Season.
Yeah, because there's no – listen, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. There's some way where they can be making some sort of pull from this to be able to survive. To be able to live and not break their backs and end up like Jameis Winston stealing lobsters.
So, okay.
That's a good W.
So, since we're on that topic, kind of steered away a little bit, how do you guys think that the players should get paid? I mean, should it be like a contract thing? Should it be game incentives? I mean, which way are you going? How about you, Jay? We'll start with you.
I think it should be a tier. It should be the same across the board. I think that if you're in the top 25, maybe you get a bonus garnishment that week, or a bonus, on top of your normal pay in the weeks that you're in the top 25. You get a bonus for getting into bowl. But I think that as far as playing field, it should be level. You know what I mean? Make sure everybody gets a piece. Your star player can't get more than the guy at the end, because it's not professional yet.
What about you, Trey? What do you think? Trey, what do you think?
It needs to be a steady line. I mean, the fifth stringer shouldn't get paid less than the start. I mean, but I will say this: in the NCAA is fixing to do this in a couple of years. Is players are fixing to start getting paid for their likeness and autographs and stuff like that. And so you have that, and then you'll have like Trevor Lawrence, if someone wants his autograph for money or whatever, then he'll get that extra money, and that's where the compensation is going to differ. I think that's what they need to do. Now, it's hard because I'm going to go off topic a little bit here. Is football usually brings in all the revenue for all these other sports. I'm just going to say it. It's like
hockey, track and field. Now you have those likes of like Kansas basketball, Duke basketball that brings in more revenue than probably their football team does. You have that rare occasion on that, but I think that's where it's kind of hard because, I mean, it's not fair. It's not right that football players are going to get paid more. But let's just be honest. Football and basketball players bring in the most revenue and helps your organ. So they should get paid more than all the Yeses. And I remember, I'm just going to say this because football and basketball it's a full-time job. They can't go off and go get a job anywhere else. They practice. They wake up at 4:30 in the morning, go to practice, go to class all day, then go to the afternoon practice, and then they got to go home and do homework and then study film and all that. It's a 19-hour day job. I'm just going to spit it. Now these other sports, I'm not for sure, but I don't think it's just as much time. They can easily do more things. So that's my. But honestly, what they need to do is even playing field, and then they also you can get paid for your likeness and everything like that, where those top tier players can make more money.
No, I get that, and I think they should get some kind of compensation, but I think the big debate's going to be how much and how's it going to be paid and when. So, but okay, so any other bowl game that you guys want to talk about before we jump into the Jan 1 bowl games? I personally didn't see anything that jumped out at me, but
that Coastal Liberty, man, I was really disappointed in that. Trey had been alluding to it all year. Liberty was a tough team coming up all year. They were on upset watch for Coastal at the end of the season, and they did exactly what Trey said. And they were a tough team, man, and it seemed like Coastal, that was their first team, because I watched that BYU game. And even though BYU played them very well, Coastal was still able to overcome the tough situations. And it seemed like with Liberty, they just could not get that defensive stop. They couldn't hit the offensive conversions when they needed it at the pressure moment. So that was their first down or uphill battle, I believe. I think that the BYU was just a downhill battle the whole time, where they were just pushing the pace and things. And this one was an uphill, grueling battle the whole time. Their first challenge this year. So they folded, but that's going to be a team in the next couple years, man.
You say fold. You say folded. You say folded.
That's crucial. I did say
it
folded.
Is,
that's a little.
Because, okay, so let's just be real. Liberty is a top 25 team this year. They were in the top 25. Their only loss. Does anyone know who their only loss came to?
Hold on. We just talked about this last week. Cincinnati?
NC State. NC State, and it was a close game, one possession game. So Liberty beat Virginia Tech. They play these Division I schools. When I saw the betting odds and everything, I was like, this is wrong. It's an evenly matchup. It's an even matchup. And the game was all great. It was great. It was great fun football to watch by every stretch of imagination. But Liberty was the only game they lost was NC State. They beat Virginia Tech pretty good. They won late, but they were in control of that game majority if you watch that game. But Liberty is a good team. Liberty's better than BYU. Liberty's better than some of these top 25 teams that are out there right now. I got to contest. So saying that they folded, no, they lost to a great Liberty team who should have been ranked in the top 25 or even top 15.
Yeah, that's why I said folded word was a little crucial, but it was their first uphill battle, and that's why I used the word folded, because they just could not get over that hump. No matter how hard they pushed, they had a lid on them. They could never gain that momentum.
They couldn't stop the run. They gave up 255 yards rushing the whole game.
Yeah.
They gave over almost 700 yards the entire game.
And Liberty had the ball most of the game.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But that just shows you how good Coastal Carolina is. That offense is scoring how quick they do. So Coastal Carolina's going to be a squad coming up. That's going to be a great team. Liberty's not going anywhere either. Both programs on the rise. So congratulations to both those teams to getting where they were at this year.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So the Jan 1st Bowl. First we got the Peach Bowl. Georgia versus Cincinnati. Trey, what do you got on that one? Just a quick cap.
I just don't know. I'm going to pick Cincinnati. Georgia does this every year. They don't care about these bowl games. Most of their players their studs aren't going to play. Cincinnati's going to prove something. It's a common copy of Texas versus Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. It's a common copy of Georgia versus UCF not Georgia, Auburn, and whoever UCF beat in the SEC, and they could claim they're national champions. I think it was Auburn. Now I'm thinking about it, but I think Cincinnati's going to, because Cincinnati has something to prove. They're going to say, we belong here. We belong in the Final Four. We got shafted. They're the only team that dropped because they didn't play a COVID game, while where Florida has lost 2 straight and only goes down to 8. Give me a freaking break on that. So I think Cincinnati has something to prove to everybody and everyone around the world. Not everyone around the world, just that playoff committee is like, you should have had us in this Final Four or even in the top 5. But getting shafted like that, I just haven't Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati has more to prove, and I think Georgia's going to sit out a lot of players. I think Cincinnati's going to roll over them.
Since we have a love for the American in the house, yeah, Power 6. All right, there you go. Well, all right, Jay, what is your take?
It's a rough one because normally, if this wasn't a bowl week, I would say Georgia's just gonna be too much for them, but I don't. I think they're going to have a couple players sitting out, and I think Cincy has something to prove. Cincy's upset. Cincy is like he was alluding to. Like everybody, all these other teams, Ohio State, they didn't get punished. Cincy really got punished. And I mean, I would have been sitting here saying the same thing about Eastern Carolina if they didn't get beat by Liberty, but. So I think that Cincy has, especially after the Eastern Carolina thing, they really want to make sure that at least one of the 2 that got punished, shows out. So I think they're going to beat Georgia. I just want to see who ends up sitting out.
Yeah, that might be the big factor on who sits out. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Cincy on this one. So the next one, Citrus Bowl, Auburn versus Northwestern. Jay, what do you got for that one, if anything?
Northwestern. I think they played decent this season. I honestly think what was it, last week or the week before they played Ohio State?
For the Big Ten, yep.
Yeah, and they played them pretty well. I mean, Ohio State's really talented. So I mean, obviously they're too much for Northwestern, but they played them pretty decent. Their defense looked decent against them. I think they're going to be tough.
Okay, try.
You don't know what you're going to get out of Auburn. They look like a great team, and they look like a horrible team. Granted, that's why Gus Malzahn is no longer the head coach at Auburn, and so you don't know what you're going to get from Auburn because they have an interim head coach. Northwestern's defense is for real. I've been saying this all year. Their offense is suspect at best. Northwestern's defense, you saw against Ohio State, you saw against all these other teams, they don't give up easy points. Northwestern is a good football team. They're whatever his name, Fitzpatrick has the head coach of Northwestern, Fitzpatrick. He's a great head coach. He's having NFL teams call him for head coaching jobs. That just shows how good. Because remember, Northwestern, you don't get all. You have to have like a higher grade point average than all these other schools. It's a hard school to get into. They only have like 3,000 people, students in that school. So they don't get the luxury that all these other schools have and what he's done for this organization. But for this game, I think Northwestern is going to prove that they are a good team. They're supposed to be in the Big Ten. I think that Northwestern's just going to beat them probably by 10 points.
Okay. And then Will commented, it's Fitzgerald. So
Fitzgerald. See, there's too many Fitzes in my mind right now, man.
Yep, exactly. So
Fitzgerald.
So moving to the playoff games, Trey, me and you covered this last week a little bit. Want to get Jay's opinion. Did the committee get it right with the top 4? What do you think, Jay?
No, man. OSU. We've been literally talking about this for 4 to 5 weeks straight, and we knew it was inevitable. OSU making it in still, and then Notre Dame. I got to give them. They have to be. Notre Dame has to be in it. As much as I really don't agree, they have to be in it. They did beat Clemson even though they didn't have Trevor. Their only loss is against Clemson, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So if Clemson's in it, you gotta have Notre Dame in it. But I wouldn't have had OSU in it. I wouldn't have had Ohio State in it.
Whoa. Yeah, that was a tough one. I see, Trey. You got any comment for that, or
yes? You cannot punish these kids for Ohio State now. It's a stupid rule by the Big Ten. You shouldn't punish the players. There was a stupid rule by the presidents and everything like that. They shouldn't. They won all their games. They should be in. Plain and simple. Yes, they barely beat Northwest, but yes, they should be in. Now Notre Dame, on the other hand, I said the only way they shouldn't be in is they get blown out. Let's be real. That was a bigger than 24-point game. Yeah. Clemson ran all over. You don't think Alabama's going to do the same thing against Notre Dame? Give me a break. Texas A&M, even though they already lost to Alabama, I think they would give them a better shot than what Notre Dame's going to do. Notre Dame, they do this every year. They get blown out in the first round. They think they're a great team, and they're not. They make it to the BCS championship. They lose by 55 points. I know it was 44-14, but it could have been a lot worse against Alabama. The same thing's going to happen this year. Mac Jones and everybody else. They have 2 Heisman Trophy candidates. The defense is going to shut down their run game because I don't trust Ian Book to save my freaking life. And I'm a Notre Dame guy. I root for Notre Dame like my third team. But Ohio State should be in because they won all their games. I don't care if you won 5, 6, or whatever games. That's not their fault. They started the season like Justin Fields and all the Ohio State players wanted to play earlier. There was a stupid presidents who were scared of COVID. Don't punish the players. Notre Dame got blown up.
Well, okay. Trey's mic just went out.
Okay.
So, anyways, all right. So,
whatever. But I mean, I get you, Trey. But look, man, if we're gonna give Ohio State the red carpet into this shit because but no, look, it's red carpet, bro. It's red carpet. They've won how many games did they play?
6.
Eastern Coastal almost doubled that and won them.
Okay.
What about Cincy?
Well, what about them? They didn't play the caliber teams that Ohio State did either. But don't give me that crap.
Who do Ohio State play this year? Before they played Northwestern,
Indiana.
Yeah, I know.
I'm waiting.
Indiana. Well, it's not my fault that Michigan. They didn't play Michigan. We saw what they did against Michigan State. Michigan State, even though they had a losing.
Anyways.
Well, I know that, but it's a rivalry game. I can't control that they only want to play conference games. I can't control that. They beat everyone.
That's fine.
If you go by the eye test, Jay, you watch that. You're telling me Cincinnati's going to beat Ohio State? Give me a break.
I didn't say that.
Okay, then why are you putting them in? Why are you putting them in?
On the eye test, I know that one of them won more games than the other. So
yeah, but the caliber of teams are not. So wait, you're telling me Tulsa's a top 25 team? Give me a break. The only reason they're top 25 is
now wait, Trey.
Cincinnati hasn't played anybody either.
No, hold on. Listen, we cannot go, hey, Ohio State is undefeated. They should be in. And then this 11-game winner in the top 25 that should not be as low as they are, shouldn't have any talk in this. Now, if we're going to do that, Ohio State shouldn't be in this.
It's a broke system. We know it. I mean.
Okay, so but saying that, I'm for that. Why not put Ohio State and Cincinnati in over? I've been fine with that. I wouldn't have Notre Dame in.
Hold on. That's fine. But Ohio State still should. You see how you're still red carpeting him in this?
No, I'm not red carpeting.
I'm looking at the stimulus bill. That was like the revision of the stimulus bill. Like, hey, we're gonna mark this. We're We're just gonna put the 2,000. We just slip that.
No, right. What I'm saying is I'm looking at the eye test and even though Ohio State's only played 6 games, they're top 14 by every stretch. Now their defense is kind of subtle. They finally put together the last 2 games of the season, but that offense is dead right. They won every game. So is Cincy. If you want to put and I agree with you. Cincinnati should not have been dog for having them because Ohio State didn't. So Cincy shouldn't have either. That was bull crud. Bull corn, whatever you want to freaking say on this network, I don't care. But if you want to put Ohio, I would have been fine with Cincinnati, Alabama.
What do you? Look, if it's 4 teams, I don't think Ohio State's in it. This is the first year we should have 6, Trey. This is the year.
Yeah, I would wait.
We could do 8, but we should at least have 6 this year.
Yeah.
And I said that, I think on one of the show or another show, I said that this is the perfect year for it because COVID and all that. You have every excuse in the world. What's the point? You can still keep these bowl games. you don't have winter break for school kids. I mean, you have winter break for school kids. You can't use school as an excuse, even though it's a dumb excuse because NCAA plays 4 weeks in the tournament and they don't care about their school apparently because money brings it in. I'm telling you, 8 teams would have been perfect. You take the conference championship winners plus the 3 at-large bids. That's it. Plain simple. It's easy. The NCAA is stupid. It's so simple they don't want to do it.
Oh, all right. So quick touch up on the 2 playoff games. Ohio State and Clemson. Who do you guys got in that one? Go Trey.
Oh, you sure you want to go with me?
Well, we already know. I guess.
I actually had Clemson until recent investigation going on right now that Debo Sweeney kind of did on me. I had Clemson actually win this game pretty handily. I think their defense and their offense is way too good. They play both sides of the ball. Trevor Lawrence ain't going to lose to Ohio State. Justin Fields was, if he's anything like he was against Northwestern, wildly inaccurate, and Justin Fields lost his draft status because of that game right now. Now, if he has a great game against Clemson, then he'll be right back up there again. But, man, I think Clemson just has too much, man. Clemson has Trevor Lawrence. They have ETN, who's going to be a first-round pick. They have Rodgers, a great slot receiver. That defense that has all Americans all over the field with linebackers and cornerbacks and everything. They're fast. They're strong. They're just too good. But Dabo Sweeney did something stupid, and now Ohio State's going to go up, and they're going to go in with a vengeance. I think the game's going to be closer. I think it's going to be close going to the fourth quarter. I think Clemson's going to pull away. Now, Dabo Sweeney putting Ohio State at number 11 just to give him feel. That was stupid. Why even show who you voted for? That was totally wrong. I'm sorry. That was you give him firepower, and then he tries to backtrack. Oh no, I still think they're a good team, and I think they can still beat us. Then why the heck do you have him number 11? I just don't understand his motive. And I love Dabo Sweeney. I think he's the best coach in college football right now. But
I'll tell you why he has him at 11.
Oh, don't give me
because he ripped that red carpet out from underneath them. Come on, man. Sweet.
Wait. You're telling me Cincinnati or is going to give Clemson a better game than Ohio State?
That's not what this is about.
That's exactly what this is about.
No, it's not.
Better team.
It's not about who's going to play the better game. This is about who deserves to be there.
Let me know when he's done. I'm done.
we're getting a little hostile here, like Freddie and Chris Brown would always get over topics. So, all right. So, Jay, you got anything on that game, or are we going to move on? Who do you got winning?
No, hey, if I'm Justin Fields, 1,000%. If I'm Justin Fields, so the Jaguars solidified number 1 pick, right?
Jags, yes, they got them on pick.
So that means number 2 is the Jets.
Right now, Jets. Yep.
I'm throwing interceptions. I'm trying to be picked 3 through anything else.
No. The reason I'm saying that the Jets aren't picking anyone else besides Trevor Lawrence. The Jets are probably going to trade those draft aspects to get better later in the draft and get more draft aspects out of that. They're going to stick with Sam Darnold. The only reason they wouldn't tank is because of Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, I would agree until the Hurts show. Okay, and when from what's his name from Philly? Is it Hurts?
Hurts. Yep.
Yeah.
Hurts.
So the Hurts show, to me, when I look at Fields, I'm not saying they're the same caliber, but they very similar players. If you ask me, as far as their styles, I think Fields is a little bit more accurate. I think Fields is more of unpredictable on his feet, and he can throw on the run better. He's very much faster. So I think he has more unique talent than Hurts does. But watching Hurts and his talent flourish, watching Herbert over in San Diego this year, watching those guys move around, even Kyler. I mean, people say what they want about him and his height, but watching Kyler move around, I think the Jets make a move on him. And I think they do go ahead and get him. I mean, you've seen the Cardinals when they picked up Rosen and then they had the chance for Kyler, they said all in. And I think this is one of those things. You get rid of Dan. You get rid of Sam. You get rid of him while you still can for a little bit of value. And you go ahead and get Fields, man. This is the once in a lifetime chance for the Jets. Trevor Lawrence didn't want to play for you anyways. So I think you take that.
No. Let me say this. You're saying, where was I going with this? Justin Fields and Rosen are the same caliber quarterback. Rosen sucked. Let's be honest with ourselves.
I didn't say anything about Rosen.
At least Sam. Yeah, you did. You said the Cardinals moved on from Rosen.
I said you said the same opportunity that the Cardinals had.
Yeah, but totally different.
Drafted Rosen, and then the next year we had an opportunity to go back after a quarterback that was we've considered a franchise caliber quarterback.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that Sam on the Jets, he hasn't had a good head coach in the 3 years he's been there.
I agree.
Adam Gase is he shouldn't even be in the league. I mean, so Sam ain't a horror. I mean, yeah, he's not the best quarterback. He's not, but he's better than what Rosen was. And I think you got to see one more year now. And that's why I say if you're the Jets, push it one more year, see what happens, and I would trade to get better aspects and build your get wide receivers, get a Harris,
but understand Trey, and remember I'm a Cardinal fan. Understand when we were sitting at number 1, okay, I almost threw my freaking lid off when they drafted Kyler. I was so furious. I wanted Quentin. I wanted Quentin Williams, okay, to solidify our defense. So I was furious. And it's because of the same thing that you just said about Sam. It's not that Sam's a bad quarterback. He hasn't had great coaches. He hasn't had the best opportunity with an offense. Le'Veon Bell didn't want to play with him. He hasn't had the best situation. But is he better than Fields? Is his ceiling even close to being up to the caliber of Fields? No,
I'm not saying that at all. It all depends on who they're. This is a college show. We're getting the NFL, but I just want to say this. I just want to say this. It all depends on who the Jets bring in as their head coach and the system that he brings in. Now, Cliff Kingsbury was a perfect. That's why they drafted Palmer because of that. That's the only reason. But going back to this,
the only reason I was bringing it up, though, the only reason I was even bringing it up before we switch off of it is because I think that Fields is one of those guys that his intangibles are too big to pass on. And that's why, going back to the game, I think that Clemson is gonna. I mean, Clemson's gonna end up winning this game, and I hope Fields doesn't end up in New York. That's what I was getting at.
He won't.
Yeah. All right. So then we got Notre Dame versus number 1 Alabama. Jay, what do you got?
Alabama. This doesn't even need any comments. The defense is gonna smack them, man, and then they don't have no one to guard those receivers.
All right, Trey, you got a different pick, or are we gonna make it unanimous?
The only way I see Notre Dame even hanging around this game is playing keep away from Alabama, running the football. That's the only way, and they average over 220 yards a game. Notre Dame does. Saying that. Alabama's defense, they're kind of
on the down.
Yeah, like they gave up over 40 points against Ole Miss. They gave up all those. I mean, they're not the same Alabama. Now they're still fast. They're still. Can I get to that level? Can Nick Saban with this extra time off get them to that level? I don't know, but I don't put it past them. I think, but I don't think there's no way Notre Dame wins this game. I'm sorry. If they do, then congratulations. Brian Kelly gets to keep his job for another year. I mean, that's
a perfect segue. You think he's out of here?
Well, that was going to be my next question. You guys kind of jumped the gun here. So, but anyway, so yeah, let's go with it. Kelly in or out? Jay, what do you got?
I mean, man, look, you got to keep Kelly in there. He hasn't won the big one. He's won Coach of the Year twice since he's been there. They went to the national championship game. What year was that? 2018.
That was a fake girlfriend.
Anti-Teo. So they went in 2018, and I mean, dude, what do we expect from Notre Dame? And the last time they actually won the championship was 69 or 89 or something like that. Ridiculous.
89.
So him getting them there the couple of times he's won Coach of the Year a few times. I mean, he's made a stance. They moved into the ACC this year. They didn't do bad. I mean, what? There's not another coach out there to come in here and swoop in here and make a huge difference or change. So I think he keeps his job.
All right, Trey, what do you got?
I think he should lose his job. I honestly do. And same thing with I compare these two teams all the time, Texas and Notre Dame. They always think that they're up there with these teams. And the same thing with Tom Herman and UT. Once the pressure is on them, they do not win the big one. They should have won. They won all these great games. The year they made it was a BCS championship game. It wasn't the playoffs back then when they went to the championship. They got blown out. Everyone knew they weren't, but they just won games. And the only reason they got in is because they were undefeated. They got blown out by Alabama. It wasn't even a game. Chip Kelly cannot win the big game. And he was questioned this week why was pressure on us, blah, blah, blah. Well, for one, you barely beat Clemson without Trevor Lawrence and without 5 of their All-American on defense, and they took them to double overtime. That's one. Second, a redemption game, y'all get blown out. It should have been more than 24 points. Clemson took it easy on y'all in that second half, fourth quarter. So that's 2. And 3, he hasn't proven, and then he gets blown out again against Alabama in the playoff, semifinals in the playoff. He cannot win the big. Yes, I grant it's all Alabama. Alabama's a great team, but he doesn't. It doesn't matter even in a regular season. He can't win, like when they get a crucial big game, he cannot win. To get him to that tier, he can't do it. He's a good coach. Now, granted, they are limited on recruit. They don't like the same academic. They don't get all the top and everything, top row prospects because of that. But saying that, I mean, how many years is this guy not going to take? Notre Dame wants to win championships. That's why they brought him in. He's a great guy, great head coach. But I think his time has come and go. I think they need a new face in there. But you're right. This year they're not going to get rid of him because the reason is there's not a coach out there this year. COVID implications killed everything this year. There's not a great head. Now the only coach I would think would be Urban Meyer, but he ain't coming out of that booth for unless it's the NFL job, Jacksonville job. I guarantee that. But he ain't coming out of that booth. There's no way. But he'll stay for another year. But if Notre Dame has another great season and they don't make it, then yeah, they need to let him go for somewhere else.
So to sum it up, you're saying next year it's title or bust.
Mm-hmm. I don't
know.
No, because they're losing a lot. They're losing Ian Book. They're losing running back.
Yeah.
It all depends on the situation. But he said it himself. This is his best team he's ever had at Notre Dame. But yet you just got blown out against Clemson. I mean,
but look at Clemson's team. I mean, and honestly, who has he been losing to? Who is he losing to in the national championship games?
Alabama. He lost to Alabama and Alabama.
And who's been winning? Alabama. I look, to me, Trey, at the end of the day, I don't think Notre Dame, I don't think if they switch coaches, I don't think Notre Dame wins the national championship in the next 5 years, no matter what.
They're not going to win the championship in the next 5 years anyway with Brian Kelly.
Yeah, they're not.
So what difference does it make?
That's what I said. That's the exact thing I said. I said even with them switching coaches, I don't see them winning a championship.
No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, and I'm not just talking about the playoff games that they lost. I'm talking about games that would have got them to the playoffs. They lost. Yeah. In the regular season, they lost those big games. They shouldn't have lost. So he's a good head coach, but he's been there forever, and he just hasn't. I'm just sorry.
Yes,
he hasn't. Yeah. But the only coach out there is Urban Meyer who can get this Notre Dame team right now, I think.
And that's what's going to keep his job for the next couple of years is there's not really another guy to come up behind him and say, okay, we have a better chance.
Now, I will say this. There's a head coach out there in Louisiana who getting high praise, and he's not taking because he says he has special things going. So the next 2 or 3 years, if Louisiana starts going up and there's nothing for him to prove there, look for him to get I'm just saying. I mean, but yeah, COVID saved a lot of coaches this season. Let's just be honest with it.
Oh yeah, I got that. I got what you're saying. Yeah, Kelly's probably got this year, maybe next. I say so. All right, let's move to a quick hoops. Any hot takes before we get going that you guys want to talk about for the NCAA? Jay?
Not necessarily any hot takes. I will say that congratulations to I think his name is Kenyatta from Florida. He's back practicing,
Yes.
back on the basketball court doing his thing. That's my hot take.
All
Congratulations
right.
to that, man.
Trey, what about you?
Can Gonzaga get it done this year? They're always right there. This is one of the best teams I've seen in a long time. They've beaten every opponent by 20 points. Big like Iowa. Well, we don't know how good Iowa is after they lost to your Golden Gophers this last weekend. So, but that's what I'm interested to see is Gonzaga going to be able to make it a run this year. Men's basketball, we're on 21 points left. Also, that's what I'm interested in. Houston, number 5 ranked team in the nation. Can they be that mid-major school that makes a big run to the Elite Eight, Final Four, other than Gonzaga? Look at Creighton. I think this is the year of the mid-majors. Don't be so shocked if you get 2 mid-majors in the Elite Eight or Final Four. That's what I'm looking forward to, because if you look, all the powerhouses are down. Arizona, Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky's only won 1 game this year. That's the worst that John Calipari's ever had in his tenure, or Kentucky's ever started. So all the powerhouses are down. Look for mid-majors to make a big run this year. Creighton's no team to slouch. I think Creighton, they should have beat Kansas in Kansas, in Lawrence. They only lost by 1 point to them. But watch out for Creighton and Houston, other than Gonzaga, to make a big run this year.
All right. So, no, that's good. But I am going to touch on my Gophers, because it's probably the only time that I'm going to be like, oh, high and mighty. So, 9-1. They just came off with 2 big upsets over Michigan State and Iowa. And they got Wisconsin in a couple days. So, hey, they keep this train rolling. I'm going to say it right now. There's my sleeper right there to make the Final Four. They got to do something. I'm saying something right now. They got a decent coach. They got a high-quality offense. Great defense. I'm calling it right now as my sleeper. They're going to make the NCAA if they can keep this train rolling. So, but yeah, 9-1, go Gophers. So,
Yeah,
right.
Looking at it, I've been saying it all year. Iowa, and then Villanova. Villanova's team is just balanced. I was looking at their stats, their breakdown the other day, and they got 4 players averaging double digits, and that's hard to beat. You got 4 players on the court at any given time that are just constantly hitting shots. It's hard to stop that. And then Iowa, they got Luka, man. I said it again. The dude is bad. He's averaging 28 points, 10 rebounds, a couple assists and a block. He's the big man is out there slinging the ball around the court as well. When you have that type of talent on your team, especially in college, it's hard to counter that. So I'm liking both of them, and then my Sun Devils are looking decent as well. They're sparky. I think they can make the Sweet 16 appearance this year. Push for the Elite Eight if we keep going the way we are.
Yep.
Also, a team to look out for is Rutgers this year as well. 6-1. Rutgers is no joke this year.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Trey kind of brought it up a little bit. If it's not Gonzaga, which mid-major do you guys see making a run? Jay, go ahead.
I'm just gonna have to go with my ASU. Like I said, I could see them pushing like Elite 8, Sweet 16 status. As far as actually Final Four appearances from one, Creighton was looking nice. Houston was looking nice as well. As far as just surprising people, you know what I mean? But it seems like with the year that we're having, it's gonna be a Cinderella team in the Final Four. Somebody we ain't even looked at yet.
How about you, Trey?
Man, even though Houston probably going to lose a game tonight, Houston's a top 5 team in the country. Houston's a great basketball team.
They look good.
They look really, really, really,
Especially
really
to
good.
the eye test too.
Yes, that's a good team. But I have to say either them or Creighton. Creighton, they're going to be stud. They're playing great basketball right now. Their only loss, or they have 2 losses, I'm sorry, but they did lose to Kansas in Lawrence. That's not an easy place to go and play. Kansas never loses in Kansas, and they should have pulled off the victory. They only lost by 1 point because of a missed free throw. So look for Creighton. Villanova, they won a championship a couple of years on the excellent best over North Carolina in the best final championship game I've seen in a long
That was a
time.
good game.
So Villanova, Wright has his team going back in the right direction. They're in top 4. So I think this might be a year of a mid-majors. Don't be shocked. There's like 10 teams in the final and the 16 in the Sweet 16, and they're all mid-major schools this year. Don't be shocked on that by that whatsoever.
One thing about that Villanova one too, they're taking 27 3-point attempts a game, and I'll tell you, in college, if you're taking that many 3-point shots and you're even shooting above 30% of them,
yes,
you are in there. And like I said, they're shooting 27 3-point attempts a game, and they got 4 players scoring over 10 points a game. That's going to be a hard team to beat in a tournament, because that means they're going to have people that are used to touching the ball on a regular basis. You can't the rushing up on their main scorers aren't going to affect them the same way. So Villanova is going to be a hot one.
Yeah, let's put up Will's nutty comment that he has there for his Cinderella team. He's got Chattanooga as his sleeper. I can see it, the eye test, and I kind of was thinking them too a little bit. Drake's another team out there that I was kind of thinking about saying. So
GCU, that's another team that I've been watching. That's another Arizona. Huh?
Who?
Exactly. GCU standalone.
I thought you said TCU.
Oh no, GCU.
Dude, no, but going back to Chattanooga, man, they're a team that in the past made the tournament because of their conference, and that's not a sleeper. That team is up and rising, and that team's going to. Will could be right. They could easily make the Sweet 16, but I don't think they can make the Elite 8.
Yeah. So I saw a report on ESPN as we're closing out the show. I forgot who reported it, but they're thinking about going 80 teams in the NCAA tournament. What do you guys think? Too many? Okay.
They already have. By the time you get down to the last 12 teams, it's already watered down.
Yep.
I think that maybe they expand the way that the bubble works. Maybe you have a week of close bubble teams have a 1-game playoff or something.
That makes sense.
But I don't think we increased it to 80. Not at all. That's you're doing too much now. We can't even get 6 teams in college football. You want to go to 80 in college basketball?
Will just wants them all in. He just 180. Let's go. Two and a half months worth of basketball. There you go.
Right, 3 a days. We play 3 a days.
Yeah. So I saw that. I bring it up.
I think they have it right where it's at. Those 4 playoff or 8 playoff game or play-in games in Dayton, Ohio that they usually do. That's perfect. The way they do it, everyone gets a chance. Mid-majors, they get out large, but they don't have to win their conference. It's perfect the way they do it. It's just fun to watch. But adding more, you're just adding more to the fire. That's stupid.
You're just watering it down.
Yeah. So basically, you're doing what Texas UIL football is doing. They're taking 4 teams from each division in. Some of these teams only have 4 teams in their division. All the teams get in the playoffs. It's ridiculous. It's a participation trophy. Everyone needs to feel good about themselves. Yay!
Yeah, see, that's retarded. I mean, at some point, you just get to a point where, like I said, I mean, if you mix the concentrate with enough water, it becomes diluted, and you're going to dilute.
That's not true, Will. That's not true, Will.
Oh. Yeah.
No, because then we're going to have some Cinderella teams that shouldn't be Cinderella teams winning.
Because that's why everyone loves March Madness, because it's one game, and anything can happen in one game.
Yep.
So
you don't always get the true champion. You don't.
Yep.
So we
all right. So as we're closing out here, how about since we've seen a lot of great comments, Jay, tell us how they can win a T-shirt.
Hey man, you can out comment Will in the chat every show, and I promise if you just focus on out chatting Will, you will get yourself a free T-shirt.
Just to make a disclaimer, Will cannot win the T-shirt, so
That's the target. You just gotta hang there.
So Trey, if they don't want to comment, like, share, but they love those awesome T-shirts, what do they got to do?
Easily just contact yours truly or Jay, who's delusional about Ohio State, or Midwest friend Brandon, who thinks Minnesota is going to win. Just get one of them. Yeah, contact in, say I want one of those fly T-shirts. Oh, why am I keeping that fly word? I'm like, whatever.
Because Ohio
State. One of those, yeah, exactly. As for one of those great T-shirts that you want to walk around on New Year's Eve with, or for Valentine's Day coming up, you don't know what to get your man or your girl or whatever the case may be. Those are awesome gifts. You can get it for $14.99 plus shipping and handling. All you got to do is contact one of the analysts at ASAP Network, and we'll be happy to get it to you.
And I heard a rumor that they're going back to 25 at the first of the year. So get yours now. Bring your New Year's in ASAP style.
Yeah, there you go. So,
hey, real quick, we didn't get to touch on. Real quick before we go.
Yeah, no. Trey, what do you think?
You really want me to go? I don't want to end the show. I mean, I can go on a rant on this one too.
Hey,
let's be real. Trevor Lawrence should win the Heisman. If it wasn't for those 3 COVID missed games, he would have more numbers than Mac Jones or anything else. But who I think should win is Devontae Smith, receiver out of Alabama. He has over 1,500 yards. The guy can catch everything. He's the fastest guy. He just won Player of the Year in the NCAA this year. He easily should be, but will they give it to a receiver? I don't. I think it's going to be Mac Jones, but it should be Devontae Smith. If you're not going to give it to Trevor Lawrence, but that's my prediction.
Yeah, I'm a Trevor Lawrence. So yeah,
Trevor
yeah, I think he should do it. I mean, he missed those games. I mean, he would have been blowing everybody out of the water with those numbers. So that's just me. So what do you think, Jay?
Listen, you're dead on, Trey. That's the man that should have the Heisman. It's Devontae. If we go back to Devin Howard's when he won it back then, he had 62 receptions, 985 yards, 19 touchdowns, a kick return, a punt return. This man, Devontae, has 98 receptions, 1,500 yards, 17 reception touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown. And then last week in the championship game, this dude had 15 receptions, 184 yards, a fumble recovery, and then he had a 30-yard punt that if he wouldn't have tripped up, he would have took that to the house. So, I mean, every single week he's gotten better, and that's what I've enjoyed watching. Like, he has a great week, and then you're like, oh, man, that was spectacular. And the next week he does something better. So I think I think, hands down, I give it to him this year. His performance this year is better.
If he does win it, that'd be the first one since Howard that won it, right?
That's why I went back to Howard for that. I'm like,
and let's be honest, he wasn't even supposed to be the number 1 receiver this year. It's supposed to be Waddle, and Waddle's hurt, and Devontae Smith is blowing him out of the water. He's going to be Devontae Smith is too good. I hate that because I hate Alabama. I don't like anything about Alabama, but Devontae Smith is a stud.
I want Devontae Smith on my team.
All right. So as we close out the show, anything you guys want to say about this year, going into next year? Personal or sports related? Jay, we'll start with you.
Well, you know, I first off talk to my fellow Jock Talkers. I hope this expands. I hope we gel, we move forward, we make this show the best show we can make it for our viewers, and go somewhere with it. But in general, I hope next year is a lot more eventful and uneventful at the same time. You know, a little bit more smoothness in the water while we float.
How about you, Trey?
Man, I just hope we get over this corona, man. I hope to God that 2021, like someone told me yesterday, was everyone's ready for 2020 to be over with. But who's to say this ain't the best year we're going to have for the next decade? I mean, who knows what 2021 is going to bring us? You know what I mean? So I just hope that everything goes back to accordingly. We have fans in the stands. Because it's hard to watch some of these games without fans.
It really
college
is.
basketball, it's really hard to watch without fans, without the Duke crazies and everything like that.
Yeah.
So let's just hope and pray that everything's starting to go back to normal with this vaccine. But I do have a prediction. that the Dallas Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl in 2020.
All right. So for me, I'm happy to be part of this network. I hope we definitely grow as a company as each show grows on. So, Cowboys, yeah. That's just like me. That's just like me going to say the Vikings are going to win it all too. So,
hey, I just said it because everyone says every Cowboy fan is delusional. I'm not. I don't think they're going to win, but I do. I'm predicting they're going to make the playoffs, but they're going to lose in the first round.
Yeah. No. So, well, with that being said, I hope the show grows. I hope the whole network grows. But with that being said, we'll all see you next Tuesday,
Shocker.
2021 for our first episode. Thanks to Jay. Thanks to Trey. Thanks to Nate behind the scenes. My name's Brandon. So see y'all next year. Have a good one.
See y'all in 2021.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.